Gang, Malakal, and Balliet, ensuring maximum coverage and impact.
Regional presence. iRadio footprint extends to the states of Western and Northern Bahr el Ghazal, Western and Central Equatoria, Jonglei, Upper Nile, and Warab. By collaborating with iRadio, you can connect with diverse communities and target audiences in these regions.
Community engagement partnering with iRadio means engaging with communities at a grassroots levels. Your message will resonate with listeners in various locations, fostering meaningful interactions and driving brand awareness.
Comprehensive coverage with stations in strategic locations like Reng, Malakal, and Balliet. iRadio offers comprehensive coverage that reaches both urban centers and remote areas. Your partnership with iRadio ensures visibility across a wide geographic area.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and Minister of Petroleum Port Kang Chol from their respective positions pending a court case against them. The ceasefire and transitional security arrangements, monitoring and verification mechanism is calling on all parties to the peace agreement to end the violence and return to dialogue, warning that gains made over the past 7 years are at risk of being reversed. The spokesperson for the National Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese national cattle headers have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. This and many more stories come in this news bulletin with me, Darlington Moses, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and Minister of Petroleum Port Kang Chol from their respective positions pending a court case against them. The suspension comes hours after the government indicted Machar, Kang and 5 other senior SPLM-IO officials of murder, treason and crimes against humanity, among others. In a statement released before the suspensions of the duo, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Joseph Gang, says the judiciary will form a special court to try the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and other senior member of the SPLM-IO of grave crimes. Dr. Gang made the remarks after announcing the completion of a government investigation into the case. According to Dr. Gang, the investigations committee interrogated 83 suspects. Out of these, 21 individuals have been indicted, 8 are under arrest and formally charged, while 13 remain at large. He said 76 people were released due to insufficient evidence. Those indicted include first Vice President Machar Tenj, Petroleum Minister Port Kang Chol, Mampal Duar, Member of National Parliament Gatwich Lamport. Others are Lieutenant General Gabriel Duab Lam, Brigadier General Gamilo Gatmai Kel, and Mading Riak Yak, and Dominic Gatgok Riak. He explained that a special court has been established in line with South Sudanese law. However, the minister explained that the case will now move to trial before a competent court where the prosecutions will present its evidence. Dr. Joseph Gang says the judiciary will decide on the dates of the hearings. The charges against the accused include murder of Major General David Major Dak, more than 250 SSPDF soldiers and United Nations personnel. Other charges are conspiracy with the White Army, terrorism and terrorism financing, treason, destructions of public property and military assets, and crimes against humanity. Minister Gang stressed that the investigation followed international standards. He said the accused were informed of charges and their right to a fair trials, including legal presentations. He added that the government remains committed to the rule of law, protecting the civilians and victims, witnesses, and respect for international obligations such as the Geneva Conventions. The ceasefire and transitional security arrangements monitoring and verification mechanism is calling on all parties to the peace agreement to end the violence and return to dialogue, warning that gains made over the past 7 years are at risk of being reversed. In a statement to iRadio on Thursday, the ceasefire monitoring body, Citizen VM, stated that 7 years after the signing of the 2018 peace agreement, they acknowledge the historic achievement of ending years of war. However, Citizen VM noted that in recent months there have been dangerous escalations of violence that puts those gains at risk. Key provisions of the agreement, particularly those related to ending fighting, are being consistently and rapidly violated by some of the signatories. According to Citizen VM, continuous attack across large parts of the country are leading to civilian deaths, the destructions of villages, and mass displacement. The body also noted that the progress on developing a singular unified forces has been stalled and cantonment sites meant to separate troops have been abandoned. In appeal to all parties, Citizen VM urged an immediate halt to fighting and called for adherence to the international humanitarian law. The organization stressed that peaceful dialogue and return to the full implementations of the agreement are the only way forward. Major General Tesmo Anagwao Ayana, chairpersons of the Citizen VM, stated that, and I quote, War harms the communities and also families of the South Sudan, and dialogue will always be the best way to resolve conflict, end quote. He added that the ceasefire monitoring body cannot forget all of the difficulties overcome and also compromises reached to achieve the signing of the peace agreement in 2018. We must therefore collectively protect it from erosion. It is the only agreement that exists, and for the sake of the people of South Sudan, the statement added. And before the international stories, the spokespersons for the National Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese cattle headers have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. According to Ambassador Apok Ayuel Mayen, the detainees crossed the international border into Ethiopian territory while armed. Apok reported that the South Sudanese embassy in Addis Ababa is currently negotiating with the Ethiopian government to secure their release. She made the remarks during the weekly media briefing held in Juba yesterday. Ambassador Apok reaffirmed the commitment of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to facilitating the return of South Sudanese nationals facing deportations from various countries. And now in the stories making headlines in the African region and beyond, one of South Africa's most notorious rapists and murderers, Thabo Bester, has taken cold actions to block Netflix from broadcasting a documentary about his life, including how he allegedly faked his death and escaped from prison. His lawyers argued that Beauty and Bester was defamatory, but the streaming giant defended its plan to release the 3-part investigation. Bester's partner, celebrity Dr. Nandipa Magundamana, features in the documentary, having allegedly helped him escape. She is part of the court bid to halt the release. The High Court is expected to give its ruling about 30 minutes before the documentary planned release to a global audience on Friday. And finally, the U.S. Energy Secretary has told the BBC that within 5 years, AI will help develop and enable the harnessing of nuclear fuel, the energy that powers the sun and stars. Chris Wright told the BBC in an interview that expected the technology to deliver power to electricity grids around the world within 8 to 15 years, and that is it, and it would also rapidly become a big drive to greenhouse gas reductions. His claims will likely surprise even enthusiasts for the technology. Enhancing the energy released when atoms fuse together could also produce vast amounts of low-carbon energy, but most scientists believe that commercial fusion power plants are still a long way off. This is iRadio News, and now to end this bulletin, let's have the recaps on the top stories once again. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and Minister of Petroleum Port Kang Chwal from their respective positions pending a court case against them. The ceasefire and transitional security arrangements monitoring and verification mechanism is calling on all parties to the peace agreement to end violence and return to dialogue, warning that gains made over the past 7 years are at risk of being reversed. And the spokesperson for the National Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese cattle headers have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. That's the end of iRadio News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at the top of the hour. I am Darlington Moses. Thanks for listening.
فتش على راديو مثالي. آي راديو هو جوابك. ليه تختار آي راديو؟ في 5 الأسباب المغنادل.
الثقة والوصول. بيعتبر آي راديو المحطة الإذاعية الأكثر ثقة وشعبية في جنوب السودان، مدعومة بالاستطلاعات الأخيرة مع قاعدة مستمعين مخلصين. حتصل رسالتك إلى جمهور واسع بشكل فعال.
شبكة واسعة النطاق. آي راديو ليست مجرد محطة إذاعية، إنها شبكة من المحطات المترابطة. لم تكن شريك مع آي راديو. سنقوم ببث برنامجك عبر مواقع متعددة مثل واو، أويل، كواجوك، يامبيو، بور، رنگ، ملكال وباليت، وبيضمن أقصى قدرة من التغطية والتأثير.
التواجد